All right, guys, back in the kitchen. What do I have? Some mother freaking rainbow treasures. I will always buy cereal if it has a pirate parrot on the front. I also got my iPad here. About to go ahead and just watch some YouTube videos. From time to time, I also like to watch a lot of movies. You guys know if you follow me on Instagram. And in fact, I wanted to mention the fact that Neighbors is coming out on Blu-ray. You guys might have heard about it or seen it in the movies. It has both Seth Rogen and Zac Efron, hubba hubba. But anyways, it's coming out to Blu-ray, and as part of that, they're releasing some new alternate openings. In fact, they have that on YouTube right now, and that was what I was just watching. So I figured I'd go ahead and do this video. So go ahead and check it out if you're interested. I'll throw an annotation on the screen here, as well as down here. Yes, that's right in my frickin' cereal bowl. So go ahead and check it out, and I'm gonna get back to this cereal. Now, as part of this, one of the reasons why I like to eat cereal, number one, it's delicious. Number two, Rainbow Treasures, sweet name. Number three, I've already mentioned the pirate parrot. You can't go wrong. This is basically a knockoff of Lucky Charms, which who doesn't like Lucky Charms? But when you look at the actual macros on this, let's see if we can get in on that bad boy. You can see as far as the calories go, they're pretty good, very low fat, and a lot of carbs. And that's really why I like to use it pre-workout. It's delicious, good name, pirate parrot, high carbs, it doesn't fill me up. So that's one of the big things that I'm key on, and that is eating some carbs, getting some energy, but not feeling full. And that's the problem with a lot of pre-workout nutrition. People load up on stuff and they go to the gym, they feel really sluggish. So this is going to do me very well today. I'm gonna go ahead and eat a big bowl of this, watch some more YouTube clips, and then I'll check you guys in the car before the gym, probably in about an hour or so. All right, so back in the car, it's probably about an hour, hour and a half later. Had some other stuff, some errands to do, and also some work to do, doing some video editing today for the real job. And no, not YouTube, unfortunately. That would be nice, but for the real job, doing some video editing, which is actually a lot more intensive than it is for the YouTube videos, as you can probably tell, because I can just go ahead and swear and just make a bunch of jump cuts and not really have to worry too much about editing on these channels. But I'm outside the gym. It's gonna be a deadlift day today, so again, pretty much a squat, bench, and deadlift. That's what I'm gonna be doing at least till I get my groove back. Ask my buddy Stella if you know what I'm saying. It's a terrible reference. Hopefully you guys don't know that reference. Not only because it is an older reference, but also because you shouldn't be watching that to begin with. But anyways, gonna do some deadlifts. I brought my brute belt also. I might be doing some weighted pull-ups. I don't know, we'll see how we'll feel. Just really get the hips moving. Probably nothing impressive, nothing heavy, but just doing some work, which is gonna be good overall. In and out, and then go home and have some lunch. Maybe I'll show you what I'm eating, just because I know you guys like the food videos. But that's about it, so let's get to the gym and let's get work done. All right, to start this video, I'm going to show you a mobility exercise I've been utilizing lately, which I really like. You're using a band and strapping it around your knees, and I've actually showed something similar in the past. However, after strapping it on, so to say, you'd lay on the floor and put your knees up on the wall. In this case, I'm standing, good poop position here, and then get down into my squat, really trying to open my hips, and the band helps pull them apart. It's kind of very similar to if you have an abductor machine available. I do not have one, so what I'm doing is I'm really trying to use my body weight as well as grab on that pole. So feel free to send me some $20 bills, y'all. But really stretch that groin out and get it open, and I've found that this has really helped me. So give it a shot and let me know if it helps you as well. Now I will note this is not the only thing I do. I did a lot more before this, but you've seen most of all of it already. So from there we actually moved on to the pulling movement. So deadlifts, I warmed up to 405, and my goal was to just do a 5x3 with 405. Nothing really groundbreaking here in terms of weight. And my apologies for that text message ringer. That was actually Michael Corey, so getting blown up all the time these days by my fitness YouTuber family. But one of the things I really need to work on here, besides obviously my hips, which is something I've bitched about plenty of times already, so I'll leave it there, is getting tighter in this position. Yes, I know, tightness. One of those things that most of our lady friends wish they could go ahead and fix as well. But for this, for me, typically on conventional pulls, what I'll do is when I set up, stand above the bar, bend at the hip, really get tight, almost like a stiff, like a deadlift position, and then just bring my knees to the bar. It's a little bit different for sumo, so I still really need to figure out how I'm going to do that. And you can see in a couple of these clips that after I get my grip, I kind of readjust my hips, really trying to pull myself into the bar and get tight. So this is something that I'm going to need to improve upon. Now, overall, this weight didn't feel too heavy. Again, for this being a newer exercise for me, so to say, it's going to take me some time. Again, that's really why I'm not looking to jump up the weights too much. What I'll probably do down the road is, as this continues, I'll throw in some recovery days like you saw yesterday for my squat video, where I did more sets, more reps, just getting more total volume in, really trying to build in the work capacity. And that's probably all you're going to see from me for the next couple days for the most part. The main clips are going to be these big compound movements. I will throw some accessory work in. So like for instance, right after this, you're going to see some accessory work that I did. In this case, I did 3 sets of 8 of weighted chin-ups, but I'm kind of going to taper that up or ramp that up as we go. As I get my work capacity higher, I'll start throwing in more assistance work. At this point, I really want to focus on building myself up for the compounds first, so I don't see a point in adding a bunch of assistance work in if I couldn't do more compounds to begin with. So that's my plan going forward with that. Now, I only filmed the first set here because who cares? Secondly, moved on to some bicep curls, barbell version in the squat rack with the safety bars in place. What's up? But you can see behind me there are 3 other squat racks which are fully empty, so no one's using them. That's always something to pay attention to. If you're gonna curl in the squat rack, make sure that you're not actually taking up space for people who want to squat. And if there were people here, I would move. I would not do barbell curls, just figure I would to get some hate from you guys. So there you go, that's the workout. You can always follow me in Fedocracy if you want to see everything in detail. All right, so we're back. We're in my kitchen, home from the gym. I'm gonna go ahead and make some lunch. What the? Damn you, Bobby Arcan from Olympus Iron. But we're back in the kitchen. I'm gonna make some lunch and I'll show you what I'm gonna get for that. And I put my phone on silent, so if you heard that little ding, you weren't hearing things, that was my phone. And again, I hate that. That's 2 videos in a row. Not my best effort. But as part of this, I'm gonna show you what's in my supplement cabinet, I guess. I'd say stack, but I don't take a lot of these things. I just have them for one reason or the other. So I'll show you exactly what I have. I'll mention if I like them, where I got them, and maybe some pros, maybe some cons, whatever it may be. Unfortunately, I'm not on that big time YouTube just yet, even though as you just saw, I'm about to break 100,000 subs, which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it, but I don't have my own pre-workout or fat burner. No cuts for the sluts for this guy. So let's go ahead and just show you what's in here. And again, some of these are gonna be pretty interesting. Some of these were gifted to me. Let's start at the bottom right here. You guys can already probably tell just based off the package itself, this is NO Explode. This is something that I bought for myself in between time where I was out of tier 1, which is my pre-workout of choice. This is a BSN product. I hadn't really ever tried this except for several years ago, back when they first had the first NO Explode. And I gotta say, I'm not really a big fan. One of the main reasons I bought it is because this is a cherry limeade flavor. And I used to take a pre-workout back in the day called Lit Up, which was also cherry limeade, and I really liked that. And this got really good reviews in terms of taste, even though I'm not a big fan of all app proprietary blends, and this is pretty much all this thing is. Look at all that ingredient profile and list. I kind of just did this just because it was on sale and I wanted to go ahead and try the flavor. Needless to say, it ain't very good. I also have recently, one of my buddies sent me this tub of white flub from Controlled Labs. This is something I also tried way back in the day, back when I used to run a lot of logs on the bodybuilding forums. Yes, I've been a member there since I think like 2000, although I don't really post on there anymore. As part of that, I had some of this and they sent me another one. So this is the watermelon flavor. Again, proprietary blends in here. So it tastes good. Oh, one of the things that pisses me off about a lot of these pre-workouts, however, is you have this big tub, and literally I think I've taken like 2 servings out of this, and you guys can probably see it's not even like a third of the way full. So I don't get why people do that, but it is what it is. So there's white flood in there as well. Continuing on the bottom, I have some Optimum Nutrition micronized creatine. This is kind of my standard go-to creatine. It's made from Creapure, I think 99%. Not to mention it's really cheap. So this right here, which is 5,000 milligrams or 500 grams, if you will last you like 6 months, and the list price on this is like 20 bucks. So really can't beat that. Some other stuff that I got sent that I don't use, some Promera Sports stuff. So Pump Extreme, which is Advanced Nitric Oxide Booster. I also have some Capsy, which is, I guess, some kind of a fat burner. I'm assuming, I'm pretty sure that it has capsicum in it. Black pepper, fruit extract, caspinoids. Yeah, so if you ever have something like, I think even Optimum Nutrition uses a lot of this kind of stuff. If you have Optimum Nutrition's, I think it's called like Platinum Pre, and you get that peppery taste at the end. It's the same kind of compounds in there. I then also have some vitamin D3. I like to supplement this in usually, but as of late instead, what I've been using
is of course the Citadel Nutrition brand. This is their athlete vitamin. I have a video on this if you're so inclined to watch it. Pretty much just a lot of the essential vitamins that people have a hard time getting. So it has like zinc, magnesium, vitamin D as well. I like it, and plus they send it to me for free. But they're a great company, and speaking of free and great stuff they put out, Tier 1 again. This is my pre-workout of choice. This one is actually unopened. You probably just saw on Instagram, if you follow me there, they sent me like 8 of everything the other day. I think I actually showed it in a video as well. This is my favorite, mainly because the people behind it are so good, and also just the profile are basic and simple, yet all proven, and you get all the actual study dosages on here, so you can't really beat it, and plus it tastes really good too. So a big fan of Citadel Nutrition, and while I'm pimping them out, I'll also mention their fish oil. I take this all the time as well. You can read up on this more if you want. Shouldn't really have to go too into fish oil. This was given to me by my good friend, Mr. Bobby Arcand from Olympus Iron, who you just saw me show a text from. These are just BCAAs. That being the case, I do not like BCAAs. I don't think anyone really needs them. You can probably see that this is still full. I think I've used maybe 2 scoops out of here. Unless you're an endurance style athlete or you're doing multiple bouts of these kind of trainings, it's probably not going to be very beneficial to you, especially if you get enough protein, which most of us training get more than enough as is. Some other stuff in here, just some stuff for my joints. This is glucosamine and chondroitin with MSM. It's important to note here that this is glucosamine sulfate. This is the good kind. Now, glucosamine as a whole, what you'll find is you won't find a lot of actual evidence supporting it in terms of just joint health. You'll find some stuff for osteoarthritis. So we just kind of assume that it's good for other things. I find, placebo or not, that my joints feel better knowing that I take this. Now I say this again, the sulfate's important because as you guys probably know, you guys were quick to call me out on this, and you're absolutely right. I had some of the hydrochloride instead, or HCl. This is oftentimes sold. It's a little bit cheaper, but it hasn't been shown to be effective. So the actual studies that were done for osteoarthritis used sulfate, not this. So make sure you get the sulfate if you're going to take it. Other stuff in here, these are some caffeine pills, and honestly I bought this when I was making my pre-workout. I think I've had this for 3 years. Probably should throw it away. I mean, it's probably hard to tell, but I think I have almost all actual 90 tablets still in here because I don't use this. I don't really find a need to supplement in caffeine externally. I know caffeine has its evidence out there that supports it in the 200 milligram form, and a lot of times with the pre-workouts, I showed you Tier 1 already, it has it, and most everything else you have for pre-workouts are already going to have caffeine, so I don't see a point in adding in any more. I also have this daily multivitamin thing, which I do not use. There's like 500 tablets, and again, there's probably like 495 in here. I bought this just because it was cheap, and I used to take it as a just in case, but there's a lot of stuff out there with vitamins lately that really haven't been shown to be too beneficial. Let me actually get my face in some of these so you guys don't miss me too much. There's not much more in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it out, so to say, and at least give you some face time. I've showed you guys this before. Again, another gift from my good friend, Mr. Bob Arcand, some micronized creatine. This is not Creapure, however, for the most part, even though I'm big on Creapure, any creatine for the most part is going to be overly beneficial if you take it in the long run. Now you might see some other stuff like bloating or some stomach issues if it's a lower grade, but just because you buy something that's not Creapure doesn't mean you should just throw it away and get it. But I would say eventually over time you want to upgrade to something better. Although some might argue that the fact that this has Mr. Steve Reeves on the front in cut-off jorts, also known as jean shorts, makes it all worthwhile, so big up to you. But I have that, other stuff, more fish oil in there. Let's see what else I have in here. I have just some drink mix, so this is a cherry flavor, also some orange as well. It's basically like a knockoff of Kool-Aid, again, in case I want to make my own pre-workouts. In which case, the final thing I have in here is also just some dextrose, which I've had for a long time. You can think of it just as some sugars or some carbs to add in. Gives it some flavor, some sweetener, and also gives some extra calories. And I would take this when I would train fasted in the morning and only have a pre-workout, so we got some more carbs and more action in there. Now, ooh, I almost fucked that up. The only other things I have, as I go into my closet, one of these you've already seen before. I started to take more protein in recently, but I've had this Oxy Elite style protein, which I've probably had for a year and a half. I probably should just throw this away. And recently, because it was on sale and just sounded good, I got some Synth 6. Now all of this tastes great. This is chocolate peanut butter flavor. I typically just go with Optimum Nutrition. I'm not an MTS kind of guy, just because for the most part for me, proteins doesn't really mean too much, doesn't make much difference. I just go for what I like in taste and what's cheap and easy to get. In which case, I've only had the vanilla MTS way. I know a lot of people like it, but there's no real deals with shipping or anything like that. And I can just get it from Optimum Nutrition through Amazon and get free shipping and next day delivery. So I just go with Optimum in most cases. But this was also purchased on Amazon, about 50 bucks for 5 pounds. And while it tastes really good, a good thing to pay attention to is the actual macros on it. So where most proteins you get like 130 calories per serving, this is 200. You get a lot more fat. This is 6 grams of fat. And I think it's like 14 carbs, 15 carbs. So you get a lot more actual bang for your buck if you're looking for calorie-wise. That's probably one of the reasons why it tastes so good. So there is my supplement cabinet slash stack. Again, out of these, I'll usually stick to tier 1 for the most part for pre-workouts, but I'll shuffle through that BSN, NL Explode, and now the White Flood just every now and then to mix things up. But otherwise, all I take on a consistent basis is Citadel's fish oil and Citadel's Athlete Vitamin. And sometimes I'll supplement in some more external D3. As you know, my pale ass definitely needs it. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, as I'm sure you guys will all do. Let me go ahead and make my lunch real quick, and then we'll kind of check out for this video because it's gone on way too long. All right, so real simple lunch. All I have here is about 3 or 4 ounces of deli turkey on some white bread. No racial intent there. 100 calorie pack of just almonds. These things are quick and easy. Then a serving of this toasted coconut Greek yogurt, which is rated GAF. And a serving of some honey and oat granola. So that's gonna do it, and I'll eat again probably pretty soon. But I was at the gym for quite a while, and I need to get back and start doing work, so I don't want to spend too much time preparing food right now. So I'll talk to you guys soon. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching, and stay big.